I'm not saying that. Cut that. Ew. I didn't plan on being a basketball channel or a WNBA channel. I don't plan on it. I yap, all right? I yap a lot, and I have a lot to say about the WNBA so far this season. Tempers are flaring. People are pissed. Oh, I didn't do an outro or an intro. Oops. Hi. My name is MrsBeatleJuice. Welcome back to the shit show that is my YouTube channel. That's an intro. But yeah, guys, tempers are flaring. Y'all, the 2025 season has been stupid insane so far. Stupid. There's been so many flagrant fouls. There's been so many fights. And I'm sorry, but if you support that behavior, you have no respect for the sport. These are grown adults. They shouldn't be fighting like this. I had people in my comments comparing it to Oakley and Jordan. No. Cunningham, Clark, that's not Oakley and Jordan. What Mabry did when she shoved Clark after Clark shoved Sheldon, that's an Oakley Jordan situation. All of this to say that it is putting the WNBA in such a bad light. It is such a bad look for the WNBA. These aren't the eyes that we want on it. What's even funnier is that Cunningham gained like so many followers on TikTok. But then guess what? They found out that she supports Trump. She voted for Trump. That's why she left Phoenix, you morons. Because tensions were so high in the locker room because she was MAGA. She voted for Trump. Oh, and she was sleeping with the CEO, but who am I? The WNBA is 29 years old. And this year, the WNBA has set records. And I'm talking attendance, viewership, jersey sales. Yeah, okay, Caitlin Clark. But you want to know what other record we broke? Technical foul records. Guys, Diana Taurasi retired last year. And this year we're breaking technical foul records? Something's wrong. We're barely a quarter of the way into the season. We're not even at the All-Star break, and we're breaking that record. What do you mean? So now I want to talk about why this could be happening. I have theories. Obviously, Caitlin Clark being the everything of everything that is the WNBA, obviously that's driving people's anger, players in particular.
Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you two. A year later, do you feel like you're getting...
Next question.
Maybe hype overload could be one of them. The Caitlin Clark effect. So the Caitlin Clark effect, right? Ratings and viewership took a 55% decrease when she was out with the quad strain, which is so sad. Those are people that we don't need eyes on the WNBA anyways, because if you're only watching for one player, you have a problem. The second reason, rivalries that the media has made up in their head and made to be something that it shouldn't be. Yes, I'm talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, but also I'm gonna blame Caitlin Clark for half of this because she never shuts anything down. Reese gets death threats daily. Still, why are we still threatening Angel Reese? She has done nothing. Yes, she did have a foul one of the first games of the season with Caitlin Clark, whatever. But to be fair, Clark shoved her. That's my opinion. But it's the media ramping up this rookie rivalry when they're not even rivals. Shut the fuck up. But again, Clark doesn't shut it down like Reese does. Reese begs her fans not to be psychos like Clark fans, but Clark is so media trained, she's never had an original thought in her life. She can't do that. And wildly inconsistent officiating that obviously has players ready to square up. But again, just because the officiant made a bad call does not mean you can start a brawl. That's just bad sportsmanship. That's terrible sportsmanship. You are a professional basketball player. Act like one. I don't give a fucking flying unicorn if the refs are making bad calls. You are a professional athlete. You don't get to start fights underneath the hoop that goes into the crowd. Have some fucking dignity, have some self-respect, and get it the fuck together. Yes, I'm talking to you, Cunningham. Now let's talk about the big events. I've been referencing a lot of fights. I know, I'm sorry. All right. So picture this opening night fireworks. It's the Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever, May 17th. Angel Reese drives. Clark, welcome to Indiana Bear Hug, rookie rival. No, ma'am. No. Reese pops up. And suddenly we have a flagrant and 2 technicals that canceled each other out. And I'm sorry, Clark, but you deserved that upgrade. You deserve that upgrade. Everyone saw the smirk on your face. I'll put the clip in here.
Getting between them, you'll see on this angle, the initial part seems okay from Clark, but then there's a shove at the end that I think should be upgraded to a flagrant 1 because that seemed like unnecessary contact from Clark.
Yeah, I agree with you. And
Angel was pissed. You can even see her mouth, "You're fucking crazy."
she goes in. There is a little bit extra there from Caitlin Clark in terms of the foul.
And Clark and Angel Reese is still going.
In addition, there is a double.
I'm just saying. This one, not refs making a bad call. I'm just going to get a lot of hate on this one. In my opinion, that was a good call. Next one. Fast forward 2 weeks later. The Indiana Fever is down 2 in New York. They're playing New York Liberty. Clark gets mugged at half court. Her words, not mine. And the refs don't make a call. And of course, she fucking harasses the refs. She charges the refs. And of course, she picked up a technical for that. That's the post that somebody commented on, bro, don't know ball. When I was like, y'all just like support Clark harassing the hell out of these refs for every call that they make. And I'm sorry, but as you can see, it's not allowed. And she still does it. And she has yet to pick up another technical, no matter how much she screams at the refs. Yeah, it's cool. Maybe say a couple words. Every player does it. But the way she harasses refs is on another level. And don't get me started. Don't get me started about the Indiana Fever coach, okay? Stephanie White, there's some weird. Somebody needs to check her bank statements. Some's funky. Some's weird. Okay? And to call the no call egregious, sit down and shut up, because you also deserve technical fouls for the way that you harass the refs and get away with it. It's weird. And the final fight that I'm talking about was a complete and utter shit show. I'm sorry. This one, I will agree that the refs did make a bad call. They did later. Okay, let me back up. I agree they made a bad call, but they did fix it. However, they still made a bad call because an anonymous source said that they upgraded it, and they said that they weren't announcing it publicly. Why wouldn't you do that? When you know people who do any sort of hint of wrong to Caitlin Clark, any player, they cannot survive on social media because they're literally overrun by death threats. Why would you not announce that publicly, that Mabry's foul was upgraded? They didn't announce it. First, it was just a flagrant 1. Then after the game, they upgraded it to a flagrant 2, which, good call, should have been in the first place. But we're just going to bury that somewhere? No. We don't do that. Anyways, so it's the third quarter, right? Clark has the ball. JC Sheldon accidentally pokes Clark in the eye. Clark responds by shoving her because that's a perfectly grown-up reaction. And Mabry, like Oakley, came out from the woodwork and shoved Caitlin to the ground. Guys, go look up Jordan and Oakley. Go look it up. I will actually, you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll put both the clips right here so you can see what happened. And you tell me.
Team members who make sure that the rules are strictly enforced. And that was certainly the case in a January clash with Detroit.
There's a scrape across the face. That's what Clark didn't like. And then Mabry came in with a bump.
And Mabry's.
I do want to say Tina Charles was not really involved in this. She was trying to calm it down. But Mabry, she just... And this resulted in the 3 texts. Tina Charles, Caitlin Clark obviously got one, and Mabry, but Mabry got a flagrant 1. Later upgraded to a 2, like I said. Now, that was in the third quarter. Now we're in the fourth quarter, and we got less than a minute left. And here comes Cunningham. Good old Sophie Cunningham. Girl, seriously, If by some chance, Sophie Cunningham, you see this, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just just please. Can we just like have a real conversation? Human to human. I just want to talk. I just want to know what the fuck was going through your head. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why the fuck you did that? That's all I want to know. Anyways, so yeah, it's the final minute. Sophie Cunningham, JC Sheldon, who, by the way, is not Mabry. Mabry is the one that body checked and shoved Clark to the ground. Sheldon was just playing ball and accidentally poked her in the eye. Be so for real, okay? I'm sorry, but poor JC Sheldon did not deserve. Also, learn how to fight. I know there's absolutely no chance that Sophie Cunningham is going to see this, but learn how to fight. What the fuck was that? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? If you're going to start a fight, start a fight. This was weird. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Don't start fights. In professional sports, it's weird. And this is another time that the refs made a bad call because 3 people got ejected. Cunningham, Sheldon got ejected, and then Allen from Connecticut Suns got ejected. And now, I'm sorry, in my personal opinion, was trying to de-escalate the situation. So for Allen to get ejected, I don't know. That broke my heart. That made me really sad because Allen did not deserve it. Basically, there's been over $40,000 in fines so far, just this season alone. Mind you, again, we are only a quarter of the way into the season, and 6 ejections. And y'all, I don't understand what everybody's obsession is with Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, because they're not doing that great. Why are people not talking about New York Liberty or the Minnesota Lynx? Let's look at last year. Who won the championships? Who won the Commissioner's Cup? It was the Lynx, and the Liberty won the championships. And they're doing far better. They are far outplaying the Indiana Fever as a whole. Now let's talk about why this is horrible for the league as a whole. 1, player safety. A single reckless shove, push, hair grab could end somebody's career entirely. Don't be stupid. If you want to protect your career, protect others. That's what sportsmanship is. Be a professional athlete and get your shit together. I understand sometimes it is aggressive, and yeah, sometimes people get hurt. But if somebody is getting hurt because you're being reckless and purposely starting fights, that is a problem. You will end a star's career faster than you can say quad train. Also, who strains their quad? Second, brand image. The W wants and needs family viewers, sponsors, and new networks to broadcast them. They fought so hard in 2020 to get more eyes on them, and it's so fucking pathetic that it took a conservative horse girl like Caitlin Clark to do that when they did so much in 2020. Basically, benches clearing every week screams niche fight club, not growing global product that people should watch. If you want to see fights and you celebrate that, I just spit everywhere. If you want to see fights and celebrate that, go watch hockey or lacrosse. We don't need that in professional basketball, especially professional women's basketball. That's already struggling enough as it is, okay? Third, other players are not getting the recognition that they deserve. Achievements are being eclipsed because nobody cares. Because Clark versus Sheldon or Sheldon versus Cunningham is all places like Sports Center and TikTok that's all they're posting about. Why are we not talking about that? Why are we not celebrating the actual achievements of another player instead of a fight that shouldn't have happened? We already know women in general, women in general are already so underestimated and underappreciated. And so when women in the professional sport do shit like that, it gets highlighted and talked about because it's fucking drama and women being women. It's such a bad look. And then you eclipse actual achievements and players that are, I just spit again, and players that are actually doing something and having a career-changing game. That's what you're doing when you do shit like that. It's sad. And number 4, ref credibility. If we are constantly shit-talking refs and saying that they're bad calls, and we have people like White, the coach, Stephanie White, and media-trained Caitlin Clark screaming about bad ref calls, no one's going to trust them. No one's going to trust a single ref anymore. It's just going to put the refs in bad positions. I mean, we saw what Cunningham did to Sheldon. What is she going to do to a ref? What could she do to a ref? Think about it. And I'm sorry, but you league execs calling for a title whistle, shut the fuck up. How about an equal whistle? How about instead of tighter whistles, we get equal whistles? It has nothing to do with tighter, but equal. Every ref, I promise you, is so scared to make any sort of call against Caitlin Clark or the Indiana Fever, period. Because again, look what Cunningham did to Sheldon on Clark's behalf. She was defending Caitlin Clark. Guys, stop it.
I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
All right. I know I've talked a lot about Caitlin Clark, but I'm not done yet because she's, on one hand, saving the league, but she's also scorching it to scorched earth levels. I'm sorry. 25% of the league's revenue literally materialized and attributed just to her existence. That's pathetic. The attendance skyrockets every arena she enters, and ratings, like I said, cratered 55% when she had a quad strain. A perfect example was the flagrant on Reese. Not exactly a fundamental clinic here. That's crazy. The eye poke retaliation sequence, instant technical and ref run-ins, Brooklyn meltdown. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I do want to say that Stephanie White is out as of right now for personal reasons. Guys, somebody seriously check her bank statements, check her financials. Something weird's going on there. If it's really actually something personal and there's like really something horrible going on in her life, I'm actually kidding. That was actually a joke. I'm so sorry. I hope her and her family are actually okay. But Kelly, who's standing in as head coach for them, had a lot to say about Clark at her most recent game. Clark played a horrible game. And I'm sorry, but if you see the sequence of how Clark acts, it seems to me Clark is spiraling just a little bit. And I am not a psychologist. I'm just merely putting out what I think could be happening. Maybe spotlight burnout. Literally, Clark has been the face of a $1 billion growth spurt at only 23 years old. That's a lot to be on somebody's shoulders. I get it. I know this. I've been on a hate train this entire video for Caitlin Clark, but I get it. That's a lot. But Angel Reese also has a lot of eyes on her. Because of you, Caitlin Clark. And she doesn't act like that. The physical toll, the quad strain. I'm sorry, I know I'm talking shit, but the constant hip checks, eye poked like the Three Stooges. All of this could maybe lead to a shorter fuse. Maybe she's just getting angrier quicker. I don't know. This quote unquote ref disparity and basically the perceived lack of protection, which to me honestly is crazy because Caitlin Clark is one of the most protected basketball players ever. Can't change my mind. It basically fuels this energy. If the refs won't, I will. Just ask Sophie Cunningham. She literally said that though. And number 4, identity politics. As many others note, Clark's popularity intersects with race, geography, and media bias. That's just a fact. Could this potentially hurt Caitlin Clark? Is it hurting her? And honestly, yes, it is. Because 2 technicals in 2 straight games is bad. Some commenters are calling for suspension. And just remember that one untimely suspension in a playoff chase and the Caitlin effect will turn into the asterisk effect. It will be a learning case moving forward. Don't make it that. Keep your hands to yourself. Be a professional. What should we do? What should the league be asking for? Zero tolerance officiating. Clear, flagrant, which we do. The league does have, they do have clear, flagrant, and technical guidelines, But when it comes to refs, it is obviously internal bias, what they see, what they don't see. They're human, they're not robots, they're not perfect, they don't see everything. But screaming in their face and being psycho, is it going to change that? Let's just maybe push for better ways to enforce the safety of the players. Another thing we could ask for is league-sponsored sports psych support. Psychology, you know? Maybe get some help. Maybe get some therapy. Give every roster a doctor on speed dial. Pressure management is performance management. Simple as that, you know? Give them the tools to figure out their mental health and maybe their anger issues. Broadcast the narrative shift. Showcase skill first, scuffles second, maybe never. You can talk about it a little bit. Let social media talk about the scuffles. SportsCenter, talk about the achievements and the good things. Showcase the skill of these people that play for the WNBA. The WNBA is in its most eclectic era yet. From breaking records, crazy gameplays, and the most insane, stupid drama to date. But if the league wants mainstream staying power, it can't risk turning every nationally televised matchup into a mid-90s Pistons documentary. So, what do you think? Is Caitlin Clark crossing the line? Has she been crossing the line? And do you think she will continue to do so? Or is she just fighting back in a league that hasn't figured out how to protect its superstars? Let me know in the comments. Don't send hate to me because I don't deserve it. These are just my opinions and how I feel. And if you feel the need to send hate on my opinions on a basketball player or calls that are made or the actions of somebody else, then you need to get your head checked. If you made it through the entire video, like, subscribe, comment, obviously. You can follow me anywhere else on social media. This is Twitter is probably the most place that I post about the WNBA or talk about the WNBA. People don't see my Twitter. People don't see this, so I don't get that much hate. I can't put it on TikTok because people are mean over there. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day or night, wherever the fuck you're at in the world. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Make good choices. Be nice, be kind, be gentle. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!